What up, family? It's the Bite Size Breakdown crew. And no, this is not deja vu. We are doing another bigger bite on Sinners, but we are in the middle of our Best Picture series, all the Best Picture nominees. We are doing a Bite Size episode 4. And today, with me to talk about this film yet again, he wasn't on the last one, so he's on this one. It is the founder of Bite Size Breakdown himself, Mr. Nick Van Dinther. Nick, how you doing, sir?
I am doing all right. I'm very interested to talk about this film for sure.
I can't wait to get into it. And then below, if you watched me on my top 100 show over the summer, these two gentlemen were on there for the very, very last episode. First off, one, Mr. Kolby Mac. Kolby, how you feeling tonight?
Yo, what up? It's your boy Kolby Mac, and I'm back. I'm feeling great.
Good to have you here. And then Winston was laughing at our takes for the hip hop show. So let's see if he laughs at the takes today. Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blerd. How you feeling today talking about Sinners, my good man?
I mean, it's always a good day if I'm talking about Sinners. It's one of the best movies we have seen in at least a decade, man. So I'm always gonna be hyped if we're talking about this.
Well, let's just get straight into it. This movie, not 1, not 2, not 4, not 10. It broke the record for Oscar nominations, and it broke the record enough that it offset the new category in casting. 16 nominations. Absolutely wild. Let's start off there. How do y'all feel about like the impact this movie has? Is it deserving of this? Is it a little like, oh wow, that's a little bit more? But more importantly, for me, how many do you think it's actually going to win? Because the nominations are one thing, but the wins are other. How do y'all feel about this? Kolby, I'm going to go down to you first, my good man.
I think if we're speaking of above the line, as much as I want to be able to rock, and I'm so appreciative of Ryan Coogler's progression as a director, he's in truly like auteur mode in his bag in a way that I don't think that we've seen. My man is batting 1,000. However, as proud as I am of his nomination for Best Directing, I don't believe that he's going to get the win, seeing as just recently, depending upon when people are going to hear this, the DGAs came out and essentially PTA has got that. And there's so much translation from that guild to the guild for the Oscars. But being amongst the 5 is an honor and a distinguishment. But working its way down between the performances, between the writing, it's not going to fare too well. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm going to say out of the 16, I'm feeling strongly about 6.
Mostly below the line stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's just the fact that it has that record.
Yeah.
Like I am a little sad because, but also not sad at the same time. This has been a banner year for me. 2025, up and down, like one battle after another, and Marty Supreme being up there, like fighting for some of the above the line stuff. Those are dope ass movies. And honestly, like I'm rooting for everybody black, like apparently, but these are not like years where I'm like, I'm gonna be mad if something else wins, because those other movies are worth it. But the fact that this got the 16, this will always be held as the most nominated Oscar film of all time. You said it's one of the best in the decade, Winston. Like I'm up there with you. It's one of my favorite films I've seen. I think it's Ryan Coogler's best. We'll talk about Michael B. Jordan in a moment. But it's just, when I got out of the theater, it was an instant classic for me. And I know some people are like, you get recency bias, you do that. But when you know, at least for me, this was a movie that is rewatchable, is entertaining, and it's not like the outright prestige. Even One Battle of After Another has a little bit of like prestige amongst the wackiness. Like this just feels like a blockbuster, and it's been people been asking the Oscars to nominate and recognize, and the fact that it is the most recognized movie of all time fits the bill for me. Nick, I'm gonna go to you because I know you like the movie, but you like the movie. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, like I should preface it by saying I never got a chance to see Sinners in theaters because Warner and me were not in a good relationship. But I did end up watching it at home, unfortunately, after all the hype. So it did definitely hurt my viewing. I did after that go and see it again in 70 millimeter. I like it a lot. I just don't love it. But I notoriously don't really care about the precursors because there's always something weird in any of the awards. And when we do our, if we do our nominations post this year, I am going to pick Ryan Coogler to win Best Director. I don't think he's going to, but I do think he should. And I think that is the one standout aside from any of the musical award nominations. I think it's got a pretty damn good shot at.
Yeah, I'm a little worried at Golden. Golden's a
best song is
Golden's
tough,
a
but
fucking hit. Yeah. Winston, what about you, Ben?
I forgot about Golden. So, if I had to take a guess, I think it's only pulling. I was originally going to say 3 to 5 wins. Now I'm going to drop that 3 to 4. I think you're looking at probably. I was going to say song, but I think you take that out because of Golden. So I think score. I think potentially sound. I want to say Ruthie is going to go back to back to back, but
Yeah.
I think the only thing, as fantastic as she is, like, let me take a look at the nominees here. Avatar, Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme.
Between that and Frankenstein.
Frankenstein,
me, it is.
Hamnet, and Avatar. Those are three. Marty Supreme, nah, I don't even know, honestly. Like, it was good, but I honestly don't know how they ended up getting a nomination considering a lot of the movies that were out there this year. But to that point, I love Ruthie, and she is definitely a darling when it comes to the Oscars, but that's kind of iffy, but I think they'll probably win casting. And I know that one is also a baby bit tough just because it's the first time at the award and you're going up against Hamnet, Marty Supreme, one battle after another, and The Secret Agent. I think one battle, just because of their also all-star cast, is going to be hard to potentially beat. As much as I think Ryan deserves director, I think they're going to do something similar as to what they did with Get Out. I think that Coogler will end up winning screenplay, especially knowing that one battle is not in the same category. It's in adapted. So you're dealing with Blue Moon. It was just an accident. Marty Supreme and Sentimental Value. I've seen 3 of the 4 of those. I don't feel like any of the rest of those are
I've seen all 4, and they're all great movies, but they're not what.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't knock them as far as being bad movies, but as far as like the 3 of the 4 that I've seen, their screenplays just aren't touching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think. I think that Sinners has that locked down, but like, you know, as dope as it would be to see Michael B. Jordan do it, I think that that's all but Timmy's Oscar at this point.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I think both what Ethan and Leonardo did is enough to put you on your back foot. I think the only thing that maybe helps Michael somehow squeeze this one out, but I think you would need a little bit of the momentum of, say, some of the other awards that are coming before it, is the fact that he played 2 characters. But again, that hasn't been enough so far. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't been enough to get him over what has mainly been Timmy's season. Would love for Delroy to do it, but I don't. The 2, again, super hard. Did they give? I'm assuming Sean Penn got nominated, and if I had to pick,
Sean Penn and Benicio.
But it's been Elordi and Skarsgård all season. So I think he's just, every category is stacked. Absolutely every category is stacked. So like last year, Sinners is sweeping damn near everything. Any other year you split those, but again, it's been a stacked year. One thing I am wondering about, and we can just go talk about the movie in general, even with if it gets a low number of wins, there is still a good possibility. And when I say good, I mean like 50-50 or so. Sinners still has a chance in picture in my heart. Like, you could split picture
I think so too.
and director. But like, if it doesn't get these wins, what's the impact of the movie still? Like, and what's been the impact for y'all? It's been almost a year since it's been out. What have you kind of like? What have you really thought about the movie since then? What's been resonant with you, especially if it doesn't get those wins or if it does?
Oh,
I mean,
understand the standard's been raised. What Ryan Coogler has done since Fruitvale, with Creed, with Black Panther, and now this, he's entered a stratosphere that we used to give to the monikers of other directors, that just being aware of projects that they have, there's directors that are earmarked to be in the conversation of whatever directing category at any award ceremony. He's in that right now. Whatever's up next, you already make space for, okay, well, we know that he's likely to get a nomination. I think breaking that barrier, and also with this film, I think like some other prominent Black films, and this is a Black film with a diverse cast, but central to the story thematically and narratively and everything that's happening outside of the film. This has been championed to be able to, one, be a continued conversation since spring of 2025, which folks said, it came out early and maybe shot itself in the foot. No, right? I think objectively, everyone can recognize this is a stellar film. Far from perfect, but it did so much to still operate on a place where we give a certain deference to auteur filmmakers like Wes Anderson and things of that nature, right? At the same time, by having wide commercial appeal, with having a cultural resonance, because it married how great it was visually, how the bar was raised in regards to the performance, the other crafts that are to this film, song wise. I mean, this is cinematic gospel. And I think that speaks volumes because of Coogler, and also how embraced that people are of someone that wholly feels different to his grouping, right? The fact that he was just talking about celluloid film and we were engrossed. We weren't giving that to John Singleton. Hell, we don't give that to Spike. He's touched and grabbed onto something uniquely in this kind of interesting period post-pandemic cinematically, where I truly believe that when you hear Nolan, that when you hear Spielberg, that when you hear a lot of those big ones, he's right there.
The fact that he's from Oakland and it's like, yeah, bro. If like you look at the film, bro, and yeah, you know, just when he does that and he stutters and he has a little, it makes
Dude.
my Bay Area heart so fucking proud, and I love it to
Dude.
death.
I joke with my old roommate all the time, because he was the one that, like, I knew of Ryan, but I had never heard an interview of his. He's like, yo, bro, he's just like a dude, son. Like, he just out here just be like, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, I went and got that close-up angle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got that thing like right there. You know what I mean? And then like I got in there and I'm like, hey, like I could see like the people in your eyes, and that's when you get like the lighting on that shit. And when that come through, I'm like, hey, yo, like he really is just a dude. Out here just talking and shit. He just knows that to me, when they talk about how representation does have an impact on you, that is where that kicks in, is because it's like, oh, this is a dude that like I would have grown up with, or like I would have been homies with, or like whatever the fuck. And he's at the top of the game, man. Like, he's out here putting banger after banger. Like, I don't even feel like, has he missed with the movie yet?
No,
Not once.
No, not once.
No.
There's people that will waffle on like the first half of Fruitvale Station, but like it's undeniable the last 30
I think
minutes
that's
of that
wild
film
to me.
like,
That
yeah,
I still make, as good as this is, I would actually still say, and maybe it's just because of the nature of the film, but I would still say for me that's still his best, and he's made some absolute masterpieces. But to prove my point, as far as like this is one of the best of the decade, I went back to just look at all of the different best picture categories as far as the since 2020. I think it easily clears last year. I think Nora's very good. I think you easily clear Nora. I don't even think that's really a question. I don't think you clear Oppenheimer. To be honest with you,
that'd be a tough one. That'd be a
that
tough one.
would be really, really hard to do. and that was a very stacked year in general. I still was a little shocked that, like, honestly, that both American Fiction and Killers weren't able to maybe pull like a dark horse upset, but you're not beating Oppenheimer. In my opinion, you're not beating Everything Everywhere.
No,
I think that would be close.
That might be
in
the best.
In my head, I think that'd be a good head to head, because Everything Everywhere swept everything that year. I think it would have split between the two of them for me.
It would have split votes, so I think they both would have maybe like ended up losing potentially because of that. Just because unfortunately people also, especially Academy voters, because a lot of them are still old, they're still making the transition. They can't think outside of it. It's like, well, it's got to be the blacks or the Asians. It's one or the other, but we're not. It can't be both. I would say it would be hard for me personally for it to clear Coda, but I think it would. I think it would have cleared
I
Coda.
think that is the easiest for it.
I think
even though I love Coda,
would have been Nomadland. It would have easily cleared Nomadland, in my opinion, and that's the last one, which was still a stacked year because you had Promising Young Woman, you had Judas and the Black Messiah. I was genuinely surprised that Nomadland won that year, but like Coda, that's another scenario of like, it's either going to be the blacks or the disabled. So it's got to be one. And I don't know. And this one, it's like, hey, this is really touching, and white people, you know what I mean? So like, but to that point, I'm looking at everything else that's really in here in these categories. Clearing The Father. I love Judas and the Black Messiah. You're clearing Judas. You're clearing Mank. You're clearing Minari. You're clearing Promising Young Woman. Sound of Metal. The Trial of Chicago 7. I'll give you Coda. You're clearing Belfast, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story. I don't think you clear Everything Everywhere, but I do think you clear All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: Way of Water, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, Women Talking. You don't clear Oppenheimer. I do think you clear American Fiction, but for me, that one's close because I really loved that movie.
American Fiction.
That was my favorite film of that year.
That movie was fantastic. You clear Anatomy of a Fall, you clear Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of a Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. You clear Nora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Concave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, definitely Amelia Perez. I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. And then this year is just hard. I personally put it above, but I'm expecting One Battle to win. I think One Battle is such a fantastic movie, and I think the way people have just been kind of on top of that and everything else, I genuinely think PTA is going to end up getting picture and director, and Coogler will end up with screenplay.
Yeah. But it's just it's so nice to have such a good stacked ass year though. Like to have that plethora of stuff that's so great. I wanted to move on because the amount of screaming I did when Moonmi's name got called, and then when Delroy's name got called. I want to talk about those three nominations: Wunmi Masaku, Delroy Lindo for the supporting, and then Michael B. Jordan for Best Picture. I think this is one of Michael B. Jordan's most nuanced, best performances. I will say, don't kill me, y'all. I've only seen up to season 2 of The Wire. It's just, hey, I need to do it, but I've seen part of Michael B.
I don't want to say anything else. Because if you've only seen up to season 2, I'm not trying to ruin anything for you.
Well, I know. Well, for anybody I don't know if anybody else needs spoilers, but I know he dies. I saw that part. I know that he's dead. So I've seen his performance, and he was hella young there. I love Delroy's performance because you're getting nominations for a slightly comedic performance, but also so much resonance. But my heart is full for Wunmi. Like, I didn't think she had a shot when I first saw it, but I was like, she should be nominated because how much she's standing firm and standing pat and just supporting everything. It has such a good chance at casting, but those three performances were the ones that stood out for me. I know a lot of people like Miles, but just for the things that they did, how do y'all feel about their nominations and what they do in this?
I don't like their odds, unfortunately. I think Delroy. Ever since Defy Bloods, it has been kind of in the idea of like that legacy award is due. supporting actor this year is just ridiculous. It's just a really bad year. Other years, I think he'd be in the conversation of winning, but supporting actor is just stupid strong this year. Supporting actress, I don't think is as strong, and I could see Wunmi take it. That would not shock me. That to me is the best chance of an acting, not including this casting one, of an acting award for Sinners. Because Michael B's great, but he's the fifth best performance in a group of 5 because
Really?
it's just so strong. I think I think genuine performance wise, like taking out my opinion on the movies, I think Wagner Moore is the best male performance of the year.
He's very good in Secret Agent. He's extremely good in Secret Agent.
So that's a blind spot. I've yet to see it in the leading category. Timmy did the damn thing.
He did.
I recognize my bias, but being from New York, that take this with a grain of salt. I saw a little bit of me in Marty Supreme, right? The level of conviction of that performance is fantastic, but I will say I've been notoriously hard on Michael B. Jordan because as an actor myself, one of the toughest things that he has had to overcome is that there was a limit to how he could be able to move because there was a disconnect between his body and timing. 75% of the time, he not only looks the part, he sounds the part, but sometimes his delivery will be stuck and he'll be in his head. And I could see it. I will say, objectively speaking, audiences wouldn't look past that, right? When they look at what he did in Creed, they just look at an exceptional physical performance. But I would find these areas to where he just has to sink inside of these moments, and he was just stuck. There was a cap to where he could be able to go. This is the first time where I feel like he was outside of himself, and maybe it was because of the challenge of doing the dual role, where I felt like he would sit in the cut of some moments and let it breathe and not force a line. And I don't know if this just that continued comfortability that he had with Ryan to where he just feels so like in tune with him and having to do both of those roles, because I truly see Stack and Smoke as two very different individuals. I think some actors that are a little green will just kind of play it up a little bit, but I think it speaks volumes to his progress that he got the nomination. And like y'all have said in regards to Wunmi, there's this reverence to her that's so distinguished, that's so powerful. The first time that we meet her inside of that shack, you can't take your eyes off of her. And there's something so striking about her visage, about her, the way that she carries her body and her voice. There's this husk, this sultriness to it. It's like every time she speaks, fuck the music that was going on with Sammy's character. When she spoke, there was like this ancestral connection that just felt so rich. And like every time that I've seen the movie now 3 times, that's what I continued to experience. And it was powerful. And Delroy, it's such a tough year. But like when I continue to think back, like one of the moments of 2025 cinematically is that when he's in the back of that vehicle doing that playback about what it was, that's transfixing.
One of my favorite scenes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
what you're talking about, the lynching?
Yeah, when he talks about his friends being lynched. He's in the front of the vehicle. But
he's in the front. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like,
forgive me.
No, you're good. That just goes to show I've seen this movie too much. I'm like, no, he actually was in the front scene. He was doing a particular thing.
And the fact, again, I you probably heard this a million times and other things, but the fact that like they ad-libbed towards the end, and Delroy had enough, and he started the humming, so it got Michael B to tell Miles to start playing, and that wasn't in the script. Just like that entire scene is one of my favorite scenes. The other thing for me for Delroy that I always go back to, he gives a straight performance, but one of my favorite parts is when he first it's noises for me. When he first sips that beer and you just go, ooh, or when he hears it and he's like, oh, what you got there? That scene also to me is like the Oscar clip for me. It's the second one behind the driving down, and I'm absolutely crazy about the fact that they got nominated.
No, I feel you. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that obviously that Wunmi is fantastic. She's great. It hasn't happened so far, and I think it's kind of wild. But the winner of supporting actress, and it should have been all season, has been Amy Madigan, in my opinion. Gladys is one of the most terrifying villains we have seen in a movie in a while. It's chaotic. It doesn't make sense. And then the way that it all kind of ends for her is also so fucking funny and like in a way that is still very true to what's happening in the moment. I've genuinely been glad she's getting her flowers for the nominations, but in shock that she hasn't been winning. I love Tiana Taylor. She's, in my opinion, not even remotely close to the top of that movie as far as performances go. Like I would have Chase Infinity, Leo himself, Sean Penn. Like there's a lot of other people that I was checking for more than her. And
I'm sorry, Regina Hall over Tiana
Regina Hall
to me.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like in
Absolutely.
the little like, and I think that's the thing, like where supporting Tiana Taylor gives a featured performance. Amy Madigan is practically a lead, right? And you look at the way the film's marketed, it's such this shift, right? And like, I know that they don't necessarily write Oscar movies for specific things. You can kind of tell when it is, right? And I wish that there was a way to kind of make it a bit more fair about it, right? Because the way that Delroy Lindo's character was written wasn't necessarily to like feature to have something that's awards worthy, right? Like you could tell that wasn't it. So he had to kind of push back that to get that recognition. Sean Penn, when that's one of my favorite performances all year.
Yes.
Because it wasn't just what was done through his voice. He changed his gait. He changed his
Vince McMahon going down the damn.
It was everything, right? But it's like there's so much there. It's like how do you, like when you're putting together this meal, right? And like you have like that's an entree. That's not like a side. That's not a side. That was an entree. So I just
it's wild, bro. It's wild that you say that because I will tell you this much. Delroy is fantastic in that, and if we were gonna try and give him like you said, he's a side there. Like I mean, he's some good ass greens, bro. He's some greens and cornbread like a motherfucker. He gave you both greens and cornbread. Sean Penn, I can't believe I'm saying this about this white man. That motherfucker was the mac and cheese, bro. It wasn't even close. Like the rage, the laughter, the fear that like came out of me watching him perform. It's not to say that Delroy didn't take me on a fucking journey. I was laughing when he made me laugh, like you said, because of the noises and the little burps and the all that. I was crying once I really because I heard the lynching story the first watch through, but I wasn't paying enough attention. When I watched it the second time, and that second time I watched it in 70 millimeter IMAX and all that shit, I was just weeping. And I was like, how the fuck did I miss this moment the first time that we watched this? Like, how was I not that attuned to what he was talking about while this was going on? And so I want him to get it because of my love for him as an actor, and like it seems like he's getting his due right now. But I truly believe that this is Sean Penn's award to lose this year. I know you said Elordi and Skarsgård have really
Skarsgård have been winning it, yeah.
But there's no world where Sean Penn does it. And the funny thing is that sometimes it's also based upon, for the actors, whether they be supporting or lead, the little things that the movie does to kind of give you that extra little push. And I think one of the things that they did with Lockjaw is having moments when you meet like the Christmas
Santa Society or whatever.
Bro, when that one dude said a semen demon, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me right now, because it took a moment where he was already just like whatever, and then you had this hilarious delivery from another actor. He's like, yes, a semen. Like I was like, oh shit. Like it added that weird. It's weird to say, but like it's funny how. Look at the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker was clearly the MVP there, but there's little things that needed to happen to be able for him to be able to pull that off. It's having Darnold make enough good throws that they still have to respect Sam Darnold on it and allow Kenneth Walker to just do his thing and run the gambit. it's kind of the same thing where Sean Penn was Kenneth Walker. He's running all over the field. You get one solid pass from Sam Darnold to take the pressure off and put Nate in the box, and now all of a sudden he's going again. And it's not to say that Delroy didn't have that as a backup. He definitely had that from all these powerful performances. It's just Sean Penn was on a fucking tear, man. Like I know we're talking about sinners, but I can't
still
not acknowledge what went on here. But
I'm pretty positive in the one battle after another video, if it's out or not already, we're going to be talking about sinners as well. A good amount.
Yeah.
We're going to flip it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to just how strong like the year is, and how, especially for how diverse the makeup of all these guilds and the entire voting body of the Academy is going to be. And it is often not just like, there's no way to make this subjective like designations to be purely just based off of merit, because it's art, right? And it's often going to be about story. And uniquely between Best Picture, director, writing, and now this casting, I don't know the dynamics in regards to, and that's on me, that I got to look into it more, of like what's going to make up the voting body for casting, but if they're like, hey, listen, let's designate this for casting and we'll get this for picture and vice versa, I can see it interchangeably. I think the magic to what you were hinting at earlier though, Rue, is the fact that uniquely Sinners has done something that they didn't think that it was going to be able to do. This is a film that when we heard about Ryan Coogler wants to do a vampire movie set in like the Delta, Mississippi, nobody thought this was going to be an Oscar movie, and it transcended that. One Battle After Another, uncannily, was a story that was in the can for 10 years that just so happened to where it's art imitating life or vice versa. And the timeliness of that to what we're experiencing right now, like it's hard not to feel this kind of like pull at you. And I wasn't wholly in love with it. I have One Battle Another like at the, right, like I think I have it like number 8 or 9 in my personal top 10 of the year. Damn. Right. However, I can be able to objectively say that like I'm impressed by the cinematography. I'm impressed by the direction. I think Leo's I've seen him do better. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't meant for him to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like it just wasn't. And there's also penchants of that story that I'm just like, and it's also so scary how real that is. I believe all of that stuff. Like we got millions of documents right now, the hints and stuff like that, and that's scary, bro.
It is. We've been talking about all the performances here, and what's been crazy is the one person that seems to be falling behind, and he's just so fucking magnetic. And I want to see if there are any other performances y'all want to bring up. Jack O'Connell.
I was gonna say I think the only mistake that the Oscars did, the fact that he didn't get a nomination, in my opinion, is insane. You're exactly right. Magnetic. I still think that Sean Penn is the better of the villains that we've seen, but for me at times to be kind of pseudo pulling for Jack's character to be like, bro, he just got fucked by the system. Like, I don't like that he's also effing us too, but like my dude just trying to get back to his people, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I think is the thing that's just so crazy, is that how do you watch him and start to feel for Remnick sometimes? That to me is, I think, the sign of a good villain is you listen to Thanos speak and you're like, shit, my boy got some points though. You listen to Killmonger and you're like, he's right. Shit. What ends up happening is then you go, oh, that's why you're the villain, and that's where they get all the credit as actors, is where then they do something that's a little too far. And so where you may have said, oh, I understand where the mentality is coming from, but you have now lost your morality to get what you want, and therefore that is why you're the villain of the story and not the hero. The fact that he's willing to essentially murder all these people just so he can have access to his people is why he doesn't get to be like, Angel from Buffy or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Is because you nah, bro, I'm gonna kill you. I'm kind of hungry too, but I would love to see my Maha if I could. That would be dope. You know what I mean? So like, Yeah, no, I think that was a big mistake that they didn't give him that opportunity. But like you said, this was a stacked ass year. So like, who are you taking out for him though?
Exactly. Like it's really hard to think about anybody to take him out.
Benicio.
Yeah,
Benicio.
at Benicio. I
Yeah,
actually
it's-
would
Okay.
agree.
Benicio had it though. I
Okay,
don't think
so
so.
here's my thing. Here's my thing with Benicio. I love Benicio in that film. Like what Winston was saying, and sometimes they give you a little push so that you hit that role. Is anything, this is me a hot take, is anything Benicio does in one battle after another all that different from the story for what Omar Benson Miller does in Sinners?
I was gonna say one of my favorite line deliveries of the entire year is being kind to one another.
Be kind to one another.
That is one of my favorite line
We's
deliveries of
what
the entire
people.
year. I will say I have never made that connection.
Like, I'm not saying
and that is actually
Omar
a pretty real
deserved
connection.
the nomination, but realistically, if you look at both of those characters and what they are to their stories in a bubble, to me, they're not all that different. And as good as O'Connell is as Remick, and I'm notoriously not high on giving award nominations to actors very early in their careers, I would have given it to Miles. I think Miles is so crucially important to this film in subtle ways as well as being kind of the face beyond Smoke and Stack.
Yeah, I see that. I think the only thing that throws me off about it, I understand the idea of like you got the name with Michael. If I were being honest about this is Sammy's movie, not Smoke and Stacks. Like if I'm keeping
Start
it
with him and you end with him.
is you start and you end with him. It's all through his eyes as it's going. Like this is his movie in my opinion. So I think that then in that whole scenario, then you got to ask the question of like, okay, well, shit, do you put him up for lead actor? In which case he both doesn't have a shot in hell. And it's not, and I'm not even trying to be a dick, but I just like, again, when Michael's in his bag, when Timmy's in his bag, when, all that kind of stuff, like the odds would have just been that much lower. But, I don't know. I thought he did a fantastic job, but if I was going to pull a support, it would be Jack, but I hear you. I don't think you're wrong by being like Miles deserves it too. Like he gave a hell of a performance.
He did. And my hot take is that what is most impressive of Miles' performance is the vocal performance married with what we see on screen.
Sure.
From an acting standpoint, there's not enough written there that he did to be able to elevate from the text and translate onto the screen.
What?
If you want to, I feel like if we want to take it a step further, if you believe
Sure.
that he's the lead, then this does feel like a Judas and the Black Messiah, where essentially what ended up playing out is that we had a character that was principally the story was about him, but it's told from someone else's eyes. Honestly, if I'm looking at it, if we would have went that route, I could see where if they granted Warner Brothers was going to let this happen, but if MBJ was running and supporting, I think he takes that.
Yeah, if MBJ was in supporting, then especially because he played two characters, then yes, I think he would have cleared. And that, which is wild to say because we've all kind of agreed that the best performances we've seen out of all the actors have kind of fallen in the supporting category with Delroy and Sean Penn.
Well, this is such a strong ensemble film. That's why.
Sure. Yeah. But I think the whole thing is just very interesting that you say that he didn't give him quite enough. I mean, when you have a line like, "Nah, I want to taste you," nigga, that's the only line you needed.
I mean,
that's the only line you
don't get me
needed, bro.
wrong.
You didn't need anything else.
But I mean, if we're talking about lines, iconically, I'm surprised that we then didn't give Mary. I would give.
You ate
I give Haley.
You ate Miss McCool so good.
Bro, the fact that she said at the end of the movie, when she said, you out here robbing trains and banks, but you can't steal this pussy for the night.
I so badly just wanted to be in a theater full of black folk just to hear the amount of the pearl clutching and you goes and all the just ooh. But I remember the collective. Oh shit! Hey,
Yeah,
we
dude.
didn't know we had that in you.
Dude,
Josh Allen didn't know he
every
had
time,
that in her.
every single time. Like I the only thing that's funnier is watching the number of women and gay men that I had like either in the theater that I was in or the people that I went to go see it with. Every time Michael either got with me or with Haley, like, oh, and I'm like, yo, y'all calm down. And just being like, Jesus Christ, it just got really hot in here for no reason. Y'all all losing your mind. So, hey man,
To be fair, this is the best picture episode, so I'll be able to talk about it by the time this comes out. I saw Wuthering Heights last night. Nothing in that film is as sexually affecting as Haley Steinfeld in Sinners.
Interesting.
Like, there's nothing that hits in the same way where it's like, it's not just for shock and awe, it's her character. I think she's actually the forgotten actress in this film. And I actually have really liked Haley Steinfeld as an actress for quite some time. But yeah, like, I'm not saying that she should get a nomination, but we go back to it. This is a thoroughly true ensemble film. From anyone to the lead cast to people like Omar Benson Miller and Haley Steinfeld and I can't remember what the shopkeeper's wife's the actress name is.
Yeah. Hold on, I had it here just a second.
The character's name is Grace.
Yes.
The Sammy's love interest. Like, everyone.
No, Jamie
plays
Lawson
their part.
and then Legion Lee. Legion Lee
Yep.
is
Legion
the
Lee.
shopkeeper, and Jamie Lawson is Pearline.
I think what we just really admitted that like this has to win casting, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's one of the ones that it really 100% should win, because I feel like at least in one battle, you can pick a couple people here and there that are like, you cool, but you're not on the high level that every single character in Sinners, even if they're in there for a short amount of time, the level they hit to lift each other up on top of lifting themselves up. Just like the when they're singing "Pick Poor Robin Clean" and Stack is sitting there just like, okay, but everybody's reaction in the doorway. It's a film that I think is going to last for a long time. I was going to get into it, but now it's coming close to end here. So any final thoughts y'all have? Mine's is fuck anybody who says this is from Dusk Till Dawn for Black people or almost the same movie. It's fucking not. Go read my article explaining why not, and then come have an argument with somebody else. But it ain't the same movie. The fellas, final thoughts on Sinners, the impacts it's had over the last year, Oscar thoughts, whatever you got to finish this out.
I would say that one of the things that we didn't talk about that I think was so prevalent in this, Ryan had kind of spoken about how honored he was to be able to get Buddy Guy to play the older version of Sammy, and how this was also in a way a love letter to Buddy Guy in that regard, and almost letting his, obviously not a 1-for-1. I don't think Buddy Guy was dealing with vampires in the fucking Mississippi Delta and shit, but the fact that it was enough to give that love letter to him and to the music and all that kind of stuff, I think that's kind of a missed opportunity that we didn't talk about a lot, and a lot of people aren't harping on quite enough. I think there's not a single movie that's been out that has had more of an impact this year as far as a scene as the scene in the middle of the movie where you're summoning the different generations into one, just creatively, visually, sonically. I don't know another scene in all of movies this year that was more creative than that. Like, I genuinely cannot think of it. And we've seen a lot of crazy stuff that wasn't even nominated here that ended up going down. So there's that too. But I think the thing that this movie does for me, and it's a very rare experience. It seems to happen roughly every, call it like 2 to 4 years, closer to 4, where a bliggity black ass movie puts a goddamn stranglehold on pop culture. It was this, it was Get Out, it was Black Panther. Those 3 movies, you had other stuff in between that were still like, oh shit, but like there was something about the 3 of those movies. Black Klansman is very good too, but no, Black Klansman is not even close. Like, let's keep it a buck. I'm not talking about quality of movie. I'm talking about putting a cultural chokehold on the world. Like,
And I'm just
again,
gonna call it out right now. We have somebody in the background who wants to input their stuff. No, sir. But good call, because Black Klansman is a good movie. Sorry, Winston.
it's a good movie, but you clearly weren't listening to what I was saying in that regard. Because again, cultural chokehold. There is not a single person that wasn't talking about Get Out and doing the Get Out challenge of like the running at the damn screen and shit like that, and that whole situation, and how the sunken place became a term that was used everywhere. And then everybody was questioning it.
Yep.
Every black person dating a white person be like, "Hey, you good? Good over there, bro?" You just randomly just like flash your camera at somebody real quick just to see. Black Panther, first, the fact that this superhero movie is almost clears 2 billion up there with the Avengers, and is the first MCU movie to get a Best Picture nomination, and people are yelling, "Show me who you are," and people are doing the M'Baku challenge and all that kind of stuff. And now with this, the fact that you had every, like, being kind to one another and all the different lines that were kind of going off in that, and the fact that it kept coming back into theaters and everything that was going on, that's the one thing that I think this has as an advantage over every other film that's there. Every other film that's listed, they're all really good. They have great performances, their production design, everything else. None of them touch the culture. And I don't even mean black culture. I mean like pop culture as a whole. None of them came even remotely close to touching the culture. The last time we saw a cultural touchstone like this was the Barbie movie, as far as just taking over pop culture. We have not seen that since then. So if there's going to be a way that this snakes out a bunch of random awards that we thought maybe it wasn't going to be good enough, that would be the reason, because you've left some sort of cultural touchstone on people that are thinking about it when it's time to do the final vote.
For sure. Nick, you were coming in prepared to be the token white man on this show. Sorry you got to follow that, but I'm gonna let you follow that now. Just any last things you want to say about Sinners before we get out of here?
Honestly, I think the lasting thing about Sinners is it has cemented Ryan Coogler as an event director.
Yep.
Because anyone who is a naysayer, look, a lot of people didn't see Fruitvale Station because it was his debut. It was an indie film. And a lot of naysayers were of the opinion that everything he's done since then, he's worked with an existing IP. And he has. He had the MCU and he had Rocky. And here he got to show, no comparisons to From Dusk Till Dawn, a truly original story.
Influenced, sure.
Influenced, sure. Also in a genre different than he did, which I think makes him almost as much of, if not more of an event director than, I would say Jordan Peele's probably the last event director we had that was like into the group of them. Because Peele knows his lane. It's horror. He's sticking in horror. Ryan's shown us he doesn't have a lane yet. Like, he's got some creativity, he's got some range, and I don't know what kind of film he comes out with next, but the way that he is able to embed culture in his stories without making it the same stories we've seen historically over and over and over again, and he's using it to enhance a superhero movie, he's using it to enhance a boxing movie, but he doesn't make it explicitly about that, I think is a really interesting opening, that he can do that with any genre in any film, and I'm just really curious to see what comes next for him.
Super quick. I think the answer to that question of what his lane is he's a historian. If we're being honest, every single thing at the core of all of his movies, whether he's directing it directly or just producing, he has always found a way to properly incorporate history, and typically, like anybody would do, personal history as far as like black culture and things like that. But he always is a historian in the way that he puts stuff in here. And I think this is just the one that is the most blatant as day outside of Fruitvale, because that's based off of a true story, you know, where he just straight up is like, this is what was happening in that area in that time, and et cetera, but I'm going to give you an original tale while I do it. But even when you look at how Killmonger is talking about how blacks were being dealt with and things like that, I think that is what he's very good at, is being the historian.
And if I can add on top of that, I think it's
Go ahead.
the history that if it's not explicit, it's done through narrative or through character.
Mm-hmm.
As in Creed was the first time where watching Rocky, I wasn't watching the story of Rocky. A character that he introduced in Creed was the city of Philadelphia. This modern history that is like why it's so central to what made Rock and what made Adonis, and having that be the thing that helps elevate the story. And he's now found this really brilliant way to take the history, marry it with this contemporary retelling that honestly is packaged in a way where it's digestible for everyone and no one feels excluded even when they try to be. You can't watch this movie and feel like there's not something for you. If you want to get hooked on certain images and moments that feel like it's an attack on you, that speaks on you, because he's been very clear, he's been very consistent, and also he's been so craftsworthy to the point where all I want is more. If we're talking about what makes this best picture, is that when I think about Frankenstein, when I think about One Battle After Another, when I think about all these films, I'm good with those in the moment. This movie, the way it came out, we all wanted the Sinner's verse. We wanted to know more about the history of Smoke and Stack. We wanted to know more about the chalk down.
I want to know about the damn vampire
hunters.
hunters. I want a whole movie about these motherfuckers, bro.
Listen, I sat there and was like, okay, great. So we know that the one prequel movie is going to be called Smoke and Stack. Another one is going to be called Red River with the Chalktown Nation vampire hunters. I want another history movie that's a prequel that's called Top of the Morning. And I just want the story of Remick, because he was so damn great. And then we get the one sequel, which is called Forbidden Fruit, where Stack and Mary go through the years post the events that happened in Mississippi up until he's in the Coogee sweater, but he got... That's, you've touched on something, whether it's a cultural touchstone or being history where we have all these confluence of things and we're starving for more.
Man, and to leave it at that, man, Sinners is one of them ones, man. It's so glad that this happened in this year. So glad to have it in such a stacked year. And so glad that it is the most nominated Oscar film of all time. So thankful to have you gentlemen with us. Kolby, let the people know where they can find you on the interwebs and tell them what they got going on in your life.
Yeah, it's always an honor and a pleasure to be able to rock the mic on Bite-Sized Breakdowns. You can follow your boy. I am still on all the socials at Kolby Told Me on Twitter and Instagram, and sometimes I'm on Facebook at Kolby Mac. And finally, the Mac is back. I'm about 7 months delayed from when I said I was going to put the podcast back on, but your boy's been consistent. It's been feeling good. So please, if you want to give a listen to the Kolby Told Me podcast, do so. So when they ask you where you heard it from, you tell them Kolby told me.
Right, all right. Winston, A. Marshall, the Swaggy Blerd, let the people know where they can find you at.
Yep, you can find me at the Swaggy Blerd on all platforms, man. Here on YouTube, on social media, all that good stuff. Blerd's in the Hood. Myself and comedian Jay Washington, man. We do a podcast every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific is our live show. And then throughout the week, we put up other videos as well as Spill the Tequila with John Roca on Tuesdays, and Capes and Cows with myself, Christian Harloff, and Chris Carr on Fridays. Lots of stuff. I'm all over the place, man. So just check out my socials and you'll be able to keep track of where I'm at.
All right. And then you can find Nick and myself here on Bite Size Breakdown all the time, all the Bigger Bite episodes. Check out our Out of Theater reactions as we get back into screening season. And go to bitesizebreakdown.com where you get multi-reviews, 100 words or less on all our movies and TV shows. Check out our awards coming soon. Nick, you said if. It's going to happen. You'll see the Bite Size Breakdown Awards right around the time the Oscars come out. But for Nick, for Winston, and for Kolby, we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.